I hope we are.
Uh, well, we are live everywhere but Twitter. Oh, there it goes. Nope, sorry. Okay, well, I'm having an issue with Twitter, guys. Welcome to Breakin Broncos podcast. I am your host, Daniel Wetstein. That is my co-host, Dylan Miles. Thank you all for coming back with us here today. Looks like we already have some comments. We have Miss Berging. I appreciate you putting that out there. All links are in the description. Please make sure if you're in, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, all those wonderful things. Those are the free things that you can do that help us immensely. Those things are invaluable to us. So please make sure if you come in the chat, you hit the like and the subscribe and all those good things. And remember, we are also part of Bird Gang Sports Media Network. Make sure you go over there, give them some love, give them a subscribe, give them a like, thumbs up, hit the bell so you get all the notifications of every time that we go live. Now, that we have that out of the way, we are here today to talk about another Broncos win, another extremely improbable Broncos win. We're going to talk about how they finally committed to the run, but I got a little bit of a twist on that for y'all when we get there.
They didn't really commit to the run.
Exactly. My guy gets it too. He's seen what I've seen, and I got some stats to prove exactly how much they didn't really commit to the run, even though it looked like they did. We're also going to be talking all about the defense because, as we all saw, this defense came to play. So we are really going to focus on the defense because we have really talked way too much about quarterbacks this year, guys. Really, the debate is over. Every one of y'all know exactly how I stand on it, and I've actually been going back and forth with my brother-in-law on Twitter yet again about Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. And really, at this point, it doesn't matter. Even if they were to start Drew Lock, nothing's really going to change at this point. It's too late. It's way too late in the game. Just might as well stick and ride with Teddy. But again, I'm done talking about quarterbacks for now. Let's go ahead and let's move in to how the Broncos stunned the Chargers and got a win. And I got a nice little visual here for y'all just to show you just how improbable this win was. As y'all can see on my nice little graphic we got here, nice little technologies that we have, you can see that 80% of the money, 80% of the bets went to the Los Angeles Chargers, which means this is the second time in a month that the Broncos have cost Las Vegas billions of dollars with a B. And again, this is yet another win that my guy Dylan right here actually called and was pretty much the only one in Broncos country to do so. So again, I will let him take the floor and have his moment.
My score was a bit off. It was more high scoring than I thought. But all I have to say is, Pat, a word I cannot say, effing Surtain. The best choice. Yes. I told you it was the perfect choice in the draft. Bro. And look how it paid off. 2 picks, 5 tackles, 2 passes defended. One of those interceptions was a pick 6. Gave the ball to his dad.
Yes, absolutely beautiful game by Surtain. And I got to scream it twice on Twitter that hashtag I stand for Surtain. We need to get that going, people. That should go viral in Broncos country. Screw Justin Fields.
Screw Justin Fields. Mac Jones I can get still. But screw Justin Fields.
I mean, honestly, do you think Mac Jones would have been doing as well as he is in New England and Denver with this coaching staff?
No. But
exactly.
So, I love me some Mac Jones. He's my favorite quarterback out of that draft.
I said before the draft even happened, I said Mac Jones is the second best talent in quarterback when it comes to talent in that draft, but he will not go before 15 to New England. Man, I think, it seems like I actually do this for a living or something,
but it's like we've been doing this before.
For a few years or something, like this
whatever it is.
Completely our lives or something, but I digress, whatever. But yeah, definitely Mac Jones. I mean, you can make an argument, but again, I make the counter argument that this coaching staff could not develop a cold if they were stuck out in Antarctica without a parka. Like literally, this coaching staff cannot develop anything, period, anywhere on the roster outside of the defensive side because of what Vic Fangio and his coaching staff does on that side. The offensive coaching staff is absolutely abysmal. And even if Fangio is able to to save his job. Say he wins 4 out of the next 6 games, and they end up with a 10-7 record and somehow squeak into the playoffs, and by some miracle get just the perfect matchup and somehow win a wild card round game or something of that nature, and that ends up saving his coaching career in Denver, which isn't the worst thing. I will admit. I
Because look
love
at what he's
Fangio.
done. He's turned around.
Yes,
He's turned it around.
I mean, that defense is absolutely legit. My problem is that even if he stays, Shermer has to go.
Yes.
They have to go.
I would like Fangio to stay. I would love him to stay. But you need to find a new offensive mind out there.
Yes.
Brian Dable's not going to come and take an offensive coordinator job. He wants that head coach job. He wants to be the top guy. But what I want to say about that is looking at that defense yesterday, that was the best part of the game. But I want to give credit to Mike Munchak with those offensive linemen that stepped up in the game after all the injuries. Garrett Bowles is out. Dalton Risner went out in that game. Lloyd Cushenberry was the only starter on the field, I believe.
Yes.
Was the only starting offensive lineman at center.
Yeah, only week 1 starter, yes.
And the third string left tackle had to come in to replace the backup to Garrett Bowles. And look what they did. Javonte Williams just ran down their throat. I can't.
I can just because.
But he was the one that carried. No, that wasn't him, was it?
No, that was Cam Fleming. That was
Cam Fleming.
The left tackle was Quinn Bailey. He was a practice squatter up until Saturday. He was put on the active roster on Saturday evening.
Did a great job.
He could play and he came in and played very admirably while going up against Joey freaking Bosa. And how about? I know I said I didn't want to talk about quarterbacks, but there is a couple of things because everybody thinks that I just hate Teddy, so I do want to give him some praise. He had some great individual efforts. That scramble for a touchdown was epic. And
that beautiful pylon dive.
Joey Bosa. Yeah, pylon dive. And
the stiff arm
Joey
was.
Bosa. I mean, does Joey Bosa need to retire because he has now been stiffied by Trevor Siemian and Teddy Bridgewater?
I mean, he got that money, dude. It's something about Denver when it comes to Joey Bosa. I don't know what it is because he looks
Chargers
dominant.
in general.
Yeah,
it's the Chargers in general.
Because Joey Bosa always looks dominant. He's always dominant. He's an amazing player. He's got a contract to show it, amazing money off of it. But something about coming to Denver that he just can't just work on is he just always just gets destroyed the entire game. He just can't get to the quarterback. And even if he does, he's not getting the sack. The ball's getting away or they're running. But, yeah, Teddy, the one thing I saw that made me mad was after the game on the news talking about Teddy Bridgewater carries the Broncos to another victory. He didn't do anything.
No, I know. Yes, please, people, stop. It's okay to say that he was a game manager and he didn't screw it up.
He did what he had to. He did what he had to.
Exactly. He didn't screw it up.
He didn't screw it up.
That's it.
Drew didn't screw. Okay, Drew gave the interception. That was a screw up until the win.
Right. And I mean, even that, those things happen. Teddy's thrown multiple picks. There was a month. Right. There was a month where Teddy was the reason the Broncos lost. A full month. Okay, people? Teddy is not the Messiah. He is not the second coming. He is not a franchise quarterback. He is a serviceable, adequate game manager. Period. He is not taking this team to the Super Bowl. Get over yourself. It is not happening. Just because he beat the Cowboys in a trap game and then they do what they do to the Chargers. The Broncos have beat the Chargers 15 out of the last 20 tries. And most of those wins have come at home. There is something about this C-level team coming to a mile high that the altitude just destroyed. It has not mattered how bad the Broncos are or how good the Chargers are. When they come to Denver, something happens, whether it's the altitude, whether it's the crowd, whatever the case may be, they just cannot play in Mile High.
It's going to be a different game when they head to LA.
Yeah. Yes.
It's going to be a completely different game.
Yeah,
crowd might not change, but
I was about to say, Broncos country travels very well to Los Angeles. So it always seems to be like another home game for the Broncos. But again, that stadium, and whether it's in San Diego or LA, that's kind of the Achilles heel in this rivalry is that the home team tends to have a bit of an edge over the away team. So they'll probably split these games. They're more than likely going to lose in LA.
Hey, it's happened in
And
the past few seasons. They split.
yeah, exactly. That's essentially what they do. Whoever the home team is wins. That's just how it's been essentially since Manning left.
And then you have the off chance of a loss that could be closer, win. And I think the last time they won in San Diego is Case Keenum, right?
I believe so. Because
Yeah.
I think Simeon won, but he was before
Yeah.
Keenum. So yeah, I think Keenum.
Last time was
last
Case
one.
Keenum, and that was okay. I can tell you why it was because it was the week after they traded DT. Emmanuel was moved up to number 1 receiver. Sutton was up there.
Yep.
There was that big week, and yeah,
Rivers
that
was on his downtime.
Rivers was on his down.
downtime.
Yep. Rivers was not playing great. They were in that horrible soccer stadium that they passed off for an NFL stadium for a few seasons.
That was so amazing. I'm sorry.
I mean, the Coliseum was an NFL stadium more than that soccer stadium.
Yeah, you could, but I mean, I guess it would have been really sad to see like 2,000 or 3,000 Chargers fans in 100,000 seat Coliseum. So I think
that's why they gave it to the Rams.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of the reason why they were. Yeah, because the Rams were actually able to draw, and the Chargers couldn't even fill out a soccer stadium, guys.
Hey,
that's how sad it was.
The Rams are LA's team. The only team technically to LA. Ever since they moved down, they've been selling tickets. They've been putting up numbers. Chargers won't, and that's why I'm excited for the next game against the Chargers is because you can see a lot of orange. I mean, look at Dallas when they were there. Look how much orange was in that stadium.
Yes.
In New York, Jacksonville, all over.
Yes, Broncos country has come out strong, even though I know a lot of people are consternating about how 9,000 no-shows happened again on Sunday. But again, can you blame the people? Honestly.
And a lot of those are season ticket holding seats. A lot of people can't make every game. Sure, most of those are no sells. They probably couldn't sell, but not all. I'm not saying all of those were season tickets, but quite a bit of those are season tickets that people probably couldn't make the game or sell tickets to other people.
Right. And so to kind of ram home, Teddy Bridgewater did not lead this team to a victory. Those are his stats, people. 11 for 18, 129 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. Yes, the QBR looks good because, again, he didn't screw it up.
How about Sauber?
We had more rushing yards. Right. We had more rushing yards than passing yards in this game. That's not okay in any other game. Yes, they got away with it against the Chargers, who, again, as I pointed out, I said this is exactly how I said the Broncos had to win. They had to commit to the run. But, like I said, I have a little bit of tricky stats for you. The only time they committed to the run was with Drew Lock on the field. When it came to Drew Lock, they had over 10 more rushing plays than passing plays. Now, when you look at the run-pass share when Teddy Bridgewater comes in the game, it is a 1-play difference. They ran 18 passing plays to 19 rushing plays. This team won the game because Teddy got hurt, Drew Lock came in the game, and it forced Pat Shurmur to commit to the run, which is exactly what they did on the first possession that Drew Lock led this team to a touchdown drive. Yes, it was 8 runs to 2 passes, but that is how it should be. Drew or Teddy. Teddy is not Peyton Manning. I do not understand why Pat Shurmur continues to insist to throw it almost or more than he runs it when he has 2 of the best running backs in the league.
And when he's throwing the ball, it's not like he's going for those deep passes or those nice out routes. He's going for those nice over the top 3-yard slant tight end drags. He's going for all those, and it's usually I can tell you Shermer's system because I see it every week. I think everybody sees it every week. It's run for a gain of about 2, run for a gain of about 2, 3rd and 6, throw for maybe 3 yards, 4th and 2, punt it.
And that's exactly what he did the moment Teddy came in. When Teddy came in after halftime, before halftime again, they had 11 more rushes than passes when Drew Lock was in the game for roughly a little more than a quarter.
Hey, how about Melvin Gordon this week, though?
Melvin Gordon looked really good.
Amazing week.
But again, it was the fact that he got more touches than Javonte. Javonte should be okay. If you want to make Melvin the starter because he's getting paid $4.5 million, whatever. I don't care whose name is called when they run out of the tunnel.
I want to see who has more touches.
Exactly. I want to see who is touching the rock more.
I think
that
we both agree.
Javonte Williams.
We both agree Javonte Williams is a starter. Like, that's always going to be there until it happens. But as long as Javonte is I love to see him start, but I want to see him, if he wants to keep saying that he's not the starter, he's going to prove himself, keep letting him.
Right? The man leads the league in rushing yards by a running back that has not had a start. He leads the league in broken tackle percentage. He leads the league in total broken tackle. And again, the man has not started a game and has been out-touched by his running mate in every single game, including this one.
How about that amazing run he had after that on that catch in the fourth quarter?
Screen pass?
Yeah, screen pass.
If Miners wouldn't have whipped, if Miners didn't whip on the block of the safety, he probably scores a touchdown. That was an amazing setup. Like, they set that screen up.
That was the most perfect play. I think that's like, if you ride it out like that and it happens.
Oh man, yes, everything was beautiful. Bosa is the reason that play happened. Bosa was supposed to have contained and would be the guy that was in man coverage on Javonte on that play. And he looked at it as a pass because of how perfectly the practice squad, Quinn Bailey, made it look like it was going to be a pass. They moved him inside, and by that time, we already had 3 linemen out in front with nobody to block for 15 yards, and then Quinn Miners.
There's something about Shermer that just, every time you see that screenplay come out, it's just something about that works.
Yeah, I mean, the screenplays usually work, but my problem is it's not the screenplays to the running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Those make sense. It's the tight end screens that drive me nuts because they are the worst, just diagrammed plays I've ever seen. And to speak about why Shermer needs to go, I'm going to go back to the Drew Lock interception. Tell me why 3 receivers on the same side of the field are running 3-yard comebacks when it's 5 yards to go. All three receivers on the side of the field that Drew ran to, and then if you go back and watch the replay, Drew is telling his wide receivers to go deep because there's nobody behind them. If just one of those 3 receivers turns around and runs downfield, there is literally no one behind them. And Drew can just toss it up and it's a touchdown. Okay, but instead, they all 3 just stand around like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and then he tries to throw a low and away pass. If you, again, go back and actually look at it through the lens of an analyst and not a hater, you will see that Drew Lock was trying to throw the ball down and away to the dirt in a place that only his receiver can get.
I want to talk about that because that was just an amazing interception. That's just all it was. That was such a great play. I will give respect when respect is due because that was a hell of a play.
The man came from behind the receiver and dove in front of him and made a diving reception literally inches off of the ground.
Stearns almost had one of those later in the game.
Right. I mean, Derwin James is an all-pro that made an all-pro play. Like, why can't we give credit to Derwin instead of just bashing Locke? Like the man was trying to make a play. Maybe when he was playing a little bit too much hero, yes, it was a run pass option that he probably should have gave it off to Javante because he could have got the first down when you go back and you look at it. But he was trying to make a play because this kid has been bashed for over a
And
year by this, and he just wants to prove to people he can play football. That's all the kid wants to do. And yet all y'all can do is sit here and just absolutely crap on the kid. Like for
yeah,
no reason.
the other thing I know we've talked about this some weeks past, especially during the Browns game, was man, Teddy's just beat up.
Yes,
I
he
saw
is.
him. It was late. It was late in the game. I think it was. It was right before that drive. It was the drive after Surtain picked it off in the end zone.
Right.
And Teddy came out. He was limping. Oh, he was limping to the huddle.
Oh,
and I just
nice.
There's just something in my head. I was like, why is he out there? And then he goes out there, and then when he's out there, when he snapped the ball, wasn't limping anymore. That's
Right.
the one thing I wanted to give him
The
credit
corner
for
zone shot.
is
Yeah.
when he went out there limping,
yes.
and then he get in that huddle and he gets the ball and he's dropping back looking like he wasn't even hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seems like what he got was a bone bruise, is because they said they did X-rays and there was nothing broken. So it seems like he just got a really good bone bruise, like maybe
Oof.
somebody's helmet hit him right in the shin. Because there's not much meat there, so that's going to be a lot of pain.
Not
But
for
he had
most
on like a
quarterbacks.
soccer. Did you see that soccer shin guard?
Yeah.
That thing was huge.
Hey,
But,
there's no quarterback I think that has a lot of meat on their shins.
No, I mean just any human.
Yeah.
Period. There's
yeah.
no meat between your shin and your skin. Like it's just bone right there. I don't care how big or fat or
That is
skinny you are.
I just want to give the one thing I want to give credit for the Chargers was Justin Herbert just not giving up like the rest of his team.
The poor guy was beat down. This defense just harassed Justin Herbert, and you can see that here as you look over. You had Stephen Weatherly with the sack. McKelvin Agent looks like a dancing bear. That 325 man out there, or 325 pound man out there, just dancing around offensive linemen. That was impressive. Filling in for Shelby Harris and Deshaun Williams and Malik Reed all really kind of lit it up. But, we've been really jumping in on the quarterbacks like we said we wouldn't. So I'm going to go ahead and squash all that talk. We're going to move on. We need to talk about the defense. And I got a question for you. With the way Browning and Young have played, are you more comfortable with losing Johnson and Jewell in the offseason?
Yeah, I would say. Unless I see some, as of now. This is as of now. Okay. I don't necessarily say you get rid of both. Like you and I have talked about this off air. You don't get rid of both. You lose one. You lose one that you're okay with losing. And for me, that's you lose Josie Jewell. You keep keep Alexander Johnson, but then Alexander Johnson, he gets hurt again. Whatever. He's not fully healed by the time the next season starts. You have the other two guys. They're still there and they're playing great. But as of now, that's what I'm going to say. Who knows what's going to happen in the last 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's a bit of a shock to me. I know how much you love AJ and Jewell, and so honestly, I thought you would say no. To me, honestly, the way that Kenny Young has played, and now that I've actually seen Baron Browning and Browning. Sorry, guy, I didn't mean to call you a dessert, but the way I've seen him play and how good he is in coverage. That pass defense on third down, I believe it was in the third quarter. He batted that ball from behind. Like that ball was behind him, and he was still able to get up. That athleticism, that Raz score was real. I told y'all about that Raz score a couple of weeks ago. It was
looking like Shelby Harris, but smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Like the man is insanely athletic.
Dude, I thought Shelby Harris blocked that kick this week. I thought it was tipped, but it wasn't.
Which kick?
The one that
the one that he missed?
Yeah, I thought it got
Shelby Harris wasn't in today.
Yeah, I forgot. I thought it got tipped by somebody, and I was like,
nope, just a bad kick.
Just straight missed it.
Yeah, his only miss as a Charger,
and the easiest place to make kicks.
Yeah, and that's why I say that's why I keep reminding you guys. The way the Broncos have won against the best teams is not sustainable. It's a lot of luck. That incomplete pass they overturned the fumble on Teddy when Teddy got hurt
That
was
was a
lucky.
fumble. That was a
I
fumble.
mean, I honestly thought it was a fumble because it looked to me like it was essentially the tuck rule. It was why the tuck rule. It looked like he was bringing it in,
God
not
damn it, Brady.
throwing it. Right? Exactly. So that was lucky, And then yes, Drew Lock got lucky on the very next play where he fumbled it just to have Tim Patrick pick it up and get the first down. So yes, there was a lot of luck. There was multiple dropped interceptions, not just
I'll
by the
get
Broncos,
yeah.
by the Chargers too. Like there was many things that had to go right. Like
There should have been more
everything had to
turnovers
go right.
than 3.
Yes, there should have been many more on both sides. Like if this should have been a lot sloppier game. It should have been a lot more like the Baltimore Cleveland game. If defenders would have actually came down with the interceptions like they did in Baltimore Cleveland, this game would have been just as ugly as that game. But again, the Broncos got continuously lucky, and luck is not sustainable. So again, get it out your minds that the Broncos are going to go into Kansas City and just mollywop the Kansas City Chiefs the way that they did the Chargers and Dallas. That's not going to happen. So just
I'm
calm
excited for
down.
that game. I'm still
I am
excited for
excited.
that game because
Yes,
primetime, baby. We got flexed.
two, and it's
Flexed
not a Thursday night game. It's only our
Sunday.
second primetime game. It's
And I
Sunday.
at least get to see Al Michaels call the Broncos in that game one last time. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, that is something
love me
that I
some Al
look
Michaels.
forward to.
And
Yes,
but looking at that, I wanted to talk about special teams this week. The rare chance of how great they actually kind of played this week. They defended kickoffs well. They weren't letting them go 30 extra 20, 30 yards. Brandon McManus had a great
downing
day.
at the one. Yes.
Dude, Sam Martin has himself a driver.
He does. I love Sam Martin. Like Sam Martin and Brandon McManus are the two special teamers that just absolutely have to stay. And I like Nate Hairston. That kid showed a lot. So I think he's a really good depth piece that needs to be kept around. And so, yes, I agree. This is without a doubt
probably
the best. Yeah, without a doubt, the best game this special teams has played in probably 3 years. But one thing about the special teams that needs to go is Deontay Spencer. I have been saying this for 2 years now. He is a waste of a roster spot. He does nothing but run into his own guys. There was 3 returns where the man had nothing but green grass if he goes left or right, but instead just runs right up the butthole of his blocker. Like I don't like hey man, if that's your thing, that's your kink, whatever, go do it. But don't do it on the football field, bro.
The thing about I think we would have seen something change this season if KJ Hamler didn't get hurt. Because the way he's been playing, if KJ Hamler was still playing, he might have seen a change in return.
You got Kendall Hinton. He might not be as fast as Deontay Spencer, but he's not that much slower, and he's actually a lot shiftier and is bigger, so he can break more tackles.
Hey, that man's been playing amazing. He may not have had like an impact in this game this week, but he's out there. He's getting his money's worth.
Just doing his hustle, man. The man's he's a great depth piece, and that could develop into more.
His story's amazing.
Shout out. Big Play Slay, I appreciate you coming in, my guy. What's up? How you doing? Mika, appreciate you as always being here for us. We appreciate you. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, bell, all the whistles and all those good things. But yes, again, I agree. Best week of special teams. Get rid of Deontay, get a couple more pieces, and I really think that special teams unit can do some damage for him going forward. But again, I don't want to focus too much on special teams or offense. I want to get right back to defense. So wow, I can't talk today. What is wrong with me? Pass rush was awoken. They got 3 sacks. Wow. I can really not talk today. They got 3 sacks and helped cause multiple turnovers. Are you convinced they can keep this up?
Technically, it's 3 sacks if you have the 2 half sacks up with it.
Yeah, that's what I said, 3 sacks.
Yeah, all right. So, it's been great. And I think the addition of having Bradley Chubb back kind of helped out in depth with the pass rush. All the Malik Reed and is not out there having to put up all the numbers all the time, getting a nice switch. They're not out there on the field the whole game, wearing out I love me some Bradley Chubb. I'll say the season hasn't been that great, and it's a pattern. Like I said, those seasons where the first season with Vaughn, right? Amazing. He had the season where he got hurt, came back, had an amazing season without Vaughn, comes back with Vaughn, gets hurt.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, we really kind of got robbed from seeing how great that pass rush tandem could be. But I mean, you saw that even though Bradley Chubb has missed all these games, you saw just how feared he is. He had very few snaps in this game, but every single time he was on the field, at minimum, he was double teamed. Yes, if
and that's
not
what you love to see.
Oh yeah, because that frees up everybody else. One play where he got triple teamed. That's the play that freed up McTelvin Agim to be one-on-one with the guard that he absolutely destroyed and got his sack. So even though Bradley Chubb didn't show up in the stat sheet at all, he still made an impact. He's that type of talent.
It's what I call the Vaughn
effect. You haven't
effect.
seen him up.
It's the Vaughn effect. He's out on the field. It's just the presence is enough. And, people, like, nobody's going to say Bradley Chubb nobody's going to say that he's not he's the best player out there, but they've seen what he can do. Look at his first season, broke Vaughn's rookie sack record. Every time he's out there, there's just that ominous just effect in your mind that he's somewhere. Even if he's not on the field, he's on the sideline, he's going to be there eventually. And what I'm loving to see is that the guys if Bradley Chubb's not in the game, we saw those guys that can step up. It's just nice to have. The addition of Weatherly has been amazing. Thank you, Vikings. I just lost my words right there.
That's all right. Well, why do you think here? The wifey has some belief that the Broncos will still have some luck when it comes to the Chiefs. I love you, babe. I appreciate you. But at the end of the show, I'm going to show you exactly why you're wrong. Yeah. You're
not going to want to hear this.
You're not going to want to hear what I have to say. So
there's some things I have some positive, mostly negative.
Right, yeah. So, and and you'll understand exactly why once we get to that at the end of the show. But again,
that's why it's at the end.
To answer my question, I do believe that this pass rush is legit because of the way that Stephen Weatherly looks on the opposite side of Malik Reed. Mm-hmm. Now, imagine how much more deadly they are going to be on the opposite side of Bradley Chubb.
Yes.
So they have been able to wreck games without an elite pass rusher on the other side.
They've been able to do enough, but they've had to.
Yes. Yeah, they've done enough. Exactly. And so you add Bradley Chubb into the mix, and if he turns out to be fully healthy and can go full bore over the next 5-6 weeks of the season, then there could be some more surprises on the horizon when it comes to wins and things of that nature. But also, again, it's my job to temper expectations, so I'll be doing that later. But I do want to say that this pass rush is absolutely legit, and if they can continue to get the interior push like they got from McTelvin Agim and Deshaun Williams in this game, it will take it just to another level. And a lot of that had to do with the absolutely spectacular coverage that they got in this game. So it's really a synergistic kind of thing. You need the pass rush to have great coverage, and you need great coverage to have a great pass rush. It's very symbiotic.
All I'm going to say right now about the coverage is, coverage has been just amazing the past few weeks. I'm not going to talk about Philadelphia. That one we'll leave out. But against Cowboys and against and the
but that was more the running game. That was more the rush speed than the pass speed. The pass speed still did really good against Justin or Jalen Hurts and them.
All I'm going to say, if Micah Parsons wasn't in the league right now, Pat Surtain's defensive rookie of the year.
Yes.
I'll give him that. But you got Micah Parsons in there right now, which I wish we could have taken, but I'll leave that for another day.
But I mean, hey, that's the quid pro quo. Like, you take Micah, but you lose Pat. And honestly, with the way that
the Pat Stamp pick is the better one.
Yeah, because you have Browning, Young, Strenad, who are all out here balling out. So the sacrifice of Parsons to get Surtain and then fill out the middle linebacker position, I think, was a smart one. So I can't be too mad at it, even though I do love Micah Parsons.
My dad wanted
really do.
Micah Parsons.
I did too. but I'm not. I am.
I wanted
absolutely happy with
anybody.
Pat Surtain.
I wanted anybody but Justin Fields.
1,000%. That was my thing too, because I already knew that Justin Fields was too good to be, just like every other Ohio State and USC quarterback that's came out in the last 20 years outside of Carson Palmer. None of them are good in the NFL.
Hey,
I
I
don't know if
mean,
it's that they go from being the big fish in a small pond to the small fish in a big pond thing, or what it is, but something about going from Ohio State or USC as a quarterback into the NFL just means you are going to fail. Period.
yeah. And, looking at those quarterbacks, if we had Justin Fields, who knows? He might be in Denver like Dwayne Haskins sitting in a strip club, whatever.
Right? Like who knows? Who knows, man?
I do like Justin Fields, though. I'll still say I do like him.
I mean, I like him as a person. I don't have anything
I don't like him as a
personally
player.
against him. But yeah, as a player, like the moment that the man said, when asked if the NFL was faster than college, and he said, and I quote, "It was kind of slow to me." I knew
Playing
that was the
against
death knell.
second and third stringers.
Right, second and third stringers in the preseason. Like, what are you talking about? I knew at that moment he was not prepared, and he was not doing what was necessary to be prepared for the NFL.
What he should have
thinking,
said. What he should have said to that question is, "I'm only here so I don't get fined."
That's all. That would have been a better response.
How you respond?
Yes, that would have been a million times better.
You have a
response.
question you don't like? Take a page out of Marshawn's book.
Right. I'm just we'll give. I love it. I love it. Yes, you're 100% correct. But
Talk about the chicken and.
Yeah, speaking of this pass defense, I mean, look at the fact. Look at all those pass defense. 2 by Simmons, 2 by Surtain, 1 each by Darby, Hairston, Browning, Stern.
Justin should have had a pick. He screwed that up.
You had Surtain with 2 picks, including a pick six, 70-yarder that showed the man. And just think about this. Think about how ridiculously athletically talented Pat Surtain is. The man is 6'2", over 200 pounds, and on that 70-yard return, he hit over 21 miles per hour. The man was speeding in a school zone, okay, on his feet. That is the fastest any defensive back has sprinted on a return in StatCast or Next Gen Stats history. Period.
That is amazing to see.
It's insane, dude.
I love to see it.
You saw the ridiculous vertical he had on the first interception where he went up and took it out of the air and high pointed it. I mean, just he can do literally anything on a football field.
When I saw that interception, I saw a clip. I don't remember who had it on Twitter, but it had an old highlight side by side of Champ Bailey getting a deflected interception, running it to the end zone. I don't remember who was against in the Bailey clip, but it's like so similar in play. He reminds me of Champ Bailey so much, and I love it. Just they have the same physical builds. They're both not too big, not too small, the right amount of speed, have great hands. But watching him go up, it was just this. I thought I was watching Champ Bailey highlights in that pick six. And that one in the end zone, it was just like the pick he had against Baltimore back in 2006 when he led the league in interceptions.
It's insane. Their measurables are almost identical.
It's awesome.
People haven't realized that their measurables, both physical and football wise, are almost identical to Champ Bailey. Like their 40 time, their height, their weight.
Even Champ Bailey be out on. I don't know if he has Twitter, but I know he has Instagram. He out there posting stuff about Surtain.
Yeah. Even Bailey loves him some Surtain. Like most definitely.
He stands for Surtain, man.
Thing. Yeah, he stands for Surtain, man. We gotta get that going, bro. I swear, you have to. How do you not stand for Surtain? I don't understand how you have any animosity or anything other than love for the kid.
These dumbasses wanted Justin Fields.
I know, but while we're speaking about cornerbacks, we're gonna go from the young buck to the old buck. Has Kyle Fuller shown enough in the last 2 weeks to warrant any type of an extension to you?
Hell no. Hell no.
Even despite the fact that he led the team in tackles. I mean, yeah, he had the pass interference penalty.
Hey, if he's out there making tackles, move him to safety.
Right? I mean, hey,
I need more pass defenses from Kyle Fuller.
True. I think that he could definitely deal with. maybe some more technique work is what it really looks to me. Because
Hey,
which is
I'll give
crazy to
him.
say, a guy that's been in the league for 9 years that he needs to work on his technique. But I mean, hey, maybe he just got lazy with it. I don't
So
know.
far this season, there have been plenty of moments where he shined. There's been plenty of moments where he looked like he deserved that extension, and then there's those other ones that looked like he's don't, and those bad ones way down the good ones. When I look at it that way, and
Right.
the one I wanted to see is the one that really made me mad was when he didn't even try to turn his head to defend a pass on Keenan Allen.
Yeah, it was
I
a
think it
rookie
was
mistake.
Keenan Allen. Yeah,
Yeah, that was the PI. That was the PI. Yeah.
and I was
If he
like,
would have just looked
man.
back, it would have been a PI. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a rookie mistake, and
Oh, and then there's the
that's
other
what I'm
one where
saying.
it
Like,
didn't get called PI, where he just got burned by
yes,
Keenan Allen, and then
yes,
he was trying to get to him, and he didn't realize the ball was getting thrown.
yes, yeah. So yeah,
Hey, Keenan
I
Allen, I'll
don't
give
know.
him credit. This man's an amazing receiver.
Yeah, he really is, and that's why I say, like, it's something. It's his technique. I don't know if that he just doesn't think he needs it anymore because he's too seasoned or too good, or he just got lazy with practicing it.
Or
But
maybe he just had a
almost
bad day. Who knows?
right, or a bad year. He's really not had that great of a year, and I think I agree with you. Like, I really dove into the numbers to see if like there was anything that I could justify, but I can't even justify his 9.5 million that he's getting paid this year.
Let's
So
see
if I
what he does
can't
in the
do
next
that,
6 weeks.
yeah, I
Let's see
mean,
what he
yeah, if
does
he
against
turns it around,
Tyreek Hill in Kansas City.
yeah. Even though I think that you should never have Kyle Fuller on Tyreek Hill,
No,
that
Sertan's
should
going to
be
be
Pat
on.
Surtain. Yeah, that should
Sertan
be.
and Simmons are going to be all over him.
Yes, you need to bracket exactly. You're 100% correct. Bracket Tyreek Hill with Justin Simmons and Pat Sertan, and let Kyle Fuller, Ronald Darby, and company take care of the rest of that receiving core. I think Kyle Fuller might be a good matchup for Travis Kelsey.
Yes.
He's got enough size and enough speed. I think he can keep up with Travis Kelsey. So
I think
I
he's
think
got a
that
bit of
would
an
be a good
edge on
matchup.
Travis Kelsey when it comes to speed.
Yes.
So where
And he
if
has
he
an
maybe he gets burned a bit, he'll be able to catch up quick.
Right, and he's also big enough because he's 6 foot,
Mm-hmm.
about 200 pounds, that he can fight, do the hand fighting, and Kelsey just can't body
He
him
could even
like
hit
he
that
could,
man.
like
That's
he
the one
could
thing
a
I give
smaller
Kyle Fuller.
quarterback.
The man can hit.
Yes, I mean, like I just said, he led the
Yeah.
team in tackles yesterday. He had 9 total tackles, 8 of them solo.
That's
So
the one thing we didn't really miss Kareem Jackson this much this week.
yes,
Which
Caden Stearns is a beast.
Caden Stearns. See, this is like we talked about this before coming to the offseason. We know Kyle Fuller probably doesn't deserve one unless we see what happens.
Right.
But the man who deserves another extension is Kareem Jackson. Even if it's another 1 year, even if you get him on for another 1 year to stick with Simmons and Stearns, let Stearns get that last year like a mentorship from Kareem Jackson because he plays just like him from what you see. He plays just like Kareem
Agreed.
Jackson. He hits. He knows how to hit. He knows how to get after the ball. The one thing I give up that Justin Simmons gave him is his hands. He's got hands, man. It's just a mix of two, just 2 and 1.
1,000%. And I mean, it's just, man, when it comes to giving out extensions, you also got to look to the future. Like, I would love to see Kareem Jackson back. I would love to see them sign Alexander Johnson back. But honestly, I think that's money that should be saved to fix the offensive line. That's
Mm-hmm.
money that should be saved to fix the defensive line. Um, because I mean, you look at how Caden Stearns is playing. He can replace Kareem Jackson.
Oh,
after
easily.
this season.
And who knows?
So,
George Payton's great with words.
and I mean, look at what else he could do when it comes to bringing in other guys in free agency, the draft. I mean, just look at this game and see the impact that this talent
This has just become a show of us just staining George Payton. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you look at this game. 5 of his 6 picks in this past year's draft were a direct reason why this team won. When you look at it, Pat Surtain was the first round pick. Then you had Javonte Williams, the Grim Reaper, second round pick. Then you had Baron Browning in the third round.
Quinn Meinerz.
Yeah, Quinn Miners in the fourth round. He was the next pick. Yeah, Quinn Miners was the 4th round pick. Then you had a 5th round pick that was Jamar Johnson. That's the only rookie that didn't play yesterday. Then you had the 6th round pick in Caden Stearns, and the 7th round pick and Jonathan Cooper. 5 of those 6, almost every one of those guys, but one, well, not almost every one of those guys, but one, had a direct impact. And then when you bring in his trades and free agent signings, it even adds on more. You had Ronald Darby, who had an absolutely great game yesterday. You had Stephen Weatherly, who we traded for, that had a great game yesterday.
That was a great trade.
Yes, it was. And so was Kenny Young. You got Stephen Weatherly, your now second best pass rusher, and Kenny Young, who's arguably your best middle linebacker. You got them both for a 6th and 7th round pick.
And
that's insane value, guys.
It's something about the Broncos. It's not George Paton. It wasn't Elway. It's just something about the Broncos as a whole that are just amazing at finding these guys in late rounds in free agency.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, Elway always had the late rounds, but the bugaboo was that he never really did anything in the 1st or 2nd round. And
that's what George Paton is.
Extra edge. That's that extra edge, exactly. That George Paton has. Because he killed it in the 1st and 2nd round. And this year, the man has 5 picks in the top 100 already. And that's before any other trades, signings, or anything else that might happen between now and the draft. He's got 5 picks in the top 100. So that's why I keep saying I can't wait till the offseason, because honestly, this season is crap. The season is going to be up and down for the rest of the year.
You know what the goal?
The
goal for this season is don't end with a losing record. You can miss the playoffs. But if you can get that, if you can get that 9-8 record, you're set. I think you're golden.
Yeah, it feels good. That's great. But then you're picking in the low or the high teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
And that completely destroys your draft value. This is why, so to be clear to you all, because it seems like I can't say this enough, I do not believe that Drew Lock is unquestionably the guy. What I do believe is that he would have done one of 2 things. He would have either won a bunch of games and solidified himself as the franchise quarterback, and the Broncos would be set going forward and have all these picks to continue building around him, or he would completely blow it and the Broncos would end up with a top 5 pick and they could go and get their quarterback, whether it be a veteran or a rookie, in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
But because the scared money picked Teddy Bridgewater, the Broncos are getting neither of those. Teddy is not winning enough games to get them to the Super Bowl. Hell, he probably won't even win enough games to get them to the playoffs. So what you're doing is you're sticking this team in purgatory, and that limits their options to only being able to go out and get a veteran quarterback that is going to be an upgrade. That's the only way. If they go and get a winning record, the only way that they are going to upgrade the quarterback position is through either free agency or trade with a veteran. And then we're right back where we started, with somebody else's franchise quarterback, because we are completely inept on ever finding an actual franchise quarterback in the draft. And again, a winning record is never going to get you a franchise quarterback unless you're absolutely lucky, like a Baltimore Raven or New England Patriots. And we all know that is not the Broncos. They don't get that lucky when it comes to quarterbacks falling to them in the draft. The quarterbacks that fall to the Broncos in the draft are the Paxton Lynches of the world.
What the hell was that way thinking?
That's what I'm saying.
Man's a 4th stringer on a Canadian football team.
How sad is that? You go from being a 1st-round pick to you're a 4th stringer on the Canadian Football League.
Yeah.
And you can't even get on the field there. Like,
the one thing about
still playing Madden.
The one thing of what was it? Looking back on, the Broncos have never really had a franchise quarterback that they've drafted.
Exactly.
Because Elway wasn't drafted.
Literally never. Never have we ever drafted a quarterback that became the franchise QB.
I think you give the 2 franchise quarterbacks since Elway were Jake Plummer and Peyton Manning. We're not going to talk about Jay Cutler and Kyle Orton because that was.
And both of them were gotten either via free agency or trade.
Yep.
But we have a question here in the chat I meant to answer. Do y'all think Surtain is a future Hall of Famer? I think it's a little early to really jump on that bandwagon, but he definitely has the trait to become a Hall of Famer. I'm not
I
going
mean,
to sit here and say,
look at
go
his
ahead.
mentors. Look at his mentors that he
Yeah.
has that were on the team. Champ Bailey.
I mean,
You can talk some Atwater, who was a
his
safety,
dad,
but still his dad, who was a corner in the NFL.
an all-pro corner.
Yeah,
Okay,
his dad, and just look at old Broncos players. Keeb's talked to him. I know Talib has talked to him before. He
oh yeah. I mean,
definitely talked to some Chris Harris this week.
yes, yes, and
And
before they're all friends.
yeah.
T.J. Ward. I mean, the list goes on. He has Steve Atwater, as a potential mentor when it comes to DB play. And I mean, the absolute depth of Broncos secondary players that are or should be Hall of Famers is just endless that he could pull from. I mean, Dennis Smith is still alive.
I mean,
You got Willie Brown. I mean, the possibilities are endless for the knowledge that this man can get. And Champ Bailey, that's one of the things he touted of his career, of what made him so good, was the ability to take knowledge from all of these old school Broncos players like Steve Atwater, Dennis Smith, etc., that helped him get to the level that he was at as a Bronco.
yeah, and what I love seeing that is look at all these Broncos players who finally got their recognition in the Hall of Fame, especially these defensive guys. The Broncos were like the worst team of getting people in the Hall of Fame. One of the worst. You have all these players who have the perfect script stats to get into the Hall of Fame, but could not get in. And finally, over the years, Champ finally got in. You got Champ. You got Steve Atwater finally got in.
Yeah.
Took Steve Atwater how many years?
I think it was like 6 or 7 years before he finally got in. Yeah, I mean, you still have Carl Mecklenburg that's not in. You have Randy Gradishaw that's still not in. Rod Smith, Louis Wright. I mean, the list of snubbed and disrespected Broncos that belong in the Hall of Fame is ridiculous. Barney Chavis is another one. I know that's a name most people won't remember, but he's one of the greatest pass rushers to ever. Simon Fletcher, the guy that set the sacks record that Von Miller broke. He's still not in the Hall of Fame.
And the one I would give, I guess, that finally got in, who's technically by the end of his career was with the Broncos, was John Lynch, who finally got in after years of trying to get in.
Right. But that was because he was a Buccaneer that won a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have spent his entire career in Denver, it probably would have taken longer for him.
So that's what I'm saying. That's the only reason he got in.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with football writers and their absolute disrespect for the level of football that is played in Denver is absolutely disrespectful.
I mean, look at the Rod Smith story. That's one of my favorites. One of my favorite things he said is he always kept a food stamp in his wallet when he put in his locker to remember where he came from.
Yes.
And he would go on to have 7 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons.
Yes, that is
2 Super Bowls.
Yes, that is a very interesting man. He still to this day cuts his own hair.
I love that.
To save the money. That's insane. The man has all the money in the world you could ask for, but he still cuts his own hair.
What I love,
because that's a man after my own heart. I am a cheap bastard. My wife will tell you I do not like spending money. So that is another reason why I love Rod Smith so much.
I'm horrible at spending money, dude. I spend so much money.
You're just a young kid. You can do it. I know how I was that way when I was your age and I had a decent job. I would just go out and hit the clubs and get with all the ladies and all that good stuff. So,
dude,
we have another shout out here. I appreciate. There's our guy Randall. Thank you again for giving us this platform, my brother. Thank you for showing up. I do also see there are more people in this than I see likes and those.
What the hell?
Hit that thumbs up already.
Don't make me break my desk, damn it.
No, we love y'all. Appreciate y'all. But please do definitely hit that like.
Yeah, we like you unless you don't share.
There you go. You want to know why we're not famous? Because you're not sharing our stuff. Why aren't you sharing our stuff? Huh? No.
Hey,
no, for real though.
Right
please
there.
hit that like. Yes. All of you people. All of you. Right there. That's on the other end of my finger.
Spider.
Right.
I got a spider on my desk.
I think we've done enough consternating about this one. Let's go ahead and let's preview this next game coming up against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Got it.
And this,
Kill the spider.
oh, you got him. You got him. I know my daughter will love you for that. She is absolutely terrified
Damn,
of
I hate
spiders. So
spiders too.
she got bit by a brown recluse, like right where her gluteus maximus and her hamstring meet, and like, oh my god! So
Spiders, dude.
like every single step she had to feel that thing. I felt so bad for her, but she is terrified of spiders now,
I've always hated
and that's
spiders.
honestly, if y'all noticed, like over the last few months, my hands been jacked up. I got attacked by a spider. I got bit over. Like I quit counting at 150 in one night. Like that was insane. So
Yeah, just
yeah,
don't tell
I
her
don't.
about the tarantula in Florida.
Oh, she's already heard that story.
That
That
story.
thing was
Oh,
great.
that story. Oh, so.
It's
Oh.
the greatest. It's the greatest.
Did you do it
But
like the video where like the guy, the big ass spider in Australia, is on his ceiling and he goes with the bowl and he like misses a
oh
leg and it falls on him?
no, I was actually worse. I didn't use a bowl. I grabbed a shoe and I was literally diving across the bed and stuff, trying to like smack it on the wall. And the way that I finally got it is I actually doused it with hairspray because for those of you that don't know, a spider breathes through its legs. So I essentially suffocated it by covering it in hairspray, and then it just kind of curled up and died, and then fell in
Dude,
shoes. And I had to vacuum it out of the shoes because it fell in my box of
I
shoes.
can tell you where my fear for spiders became a thing. It was when I watched Chamber of Secrets for the first time, Harry Potter, and they go into
Oh
the
goodness!
Forbidden Forest and all the damn spiders are there. And it didn't help
Yeah,
in Lord of the Rings either in Return of the King.
I was gonna say. I was
When
about to
Sam
say.
fights that spider.
Right. I thought you were gonna bring up the Spider Queen from
I hadn't seen that one
Lord of the
yet.
Rings.
I was a Harry Potter kid before I became a Lord of the Rings kid.
I got you. And I mean that makes sense. I was older at the time, so I've never
Yeah, Lord
really
of the
got
Rings are
into
my
Harry
favorite
Potter.
damn movies of all time. I played
Yes,
that
most
Two Towers
definitely.
video game when I was like 4.
Oh yes, yeah. I've destroyed every one of the Lord of the Rings games. The War of Mordor, the Shadow of Mordor, and all those. I absolutely love those games, and so does my son. Like so, Trey
Then you're
likes
gonna
those
love the
games
Harry
as
Potter
well.
game that's coming out.
I have honestly I have watched 15 minutes of the first movie, and I never watched anything else.
Okay, hey, I'll tell
Honestly,
you the best one to watch. You don't need to know anything that's happened in the other two or after. It's Prisoner of Azkaban, the third movie. It's my favorite one.
right? What's
Probably
that?
just because Alfonso Cuarón directed it, and that's why I love it so damn much. It looks amazing.
Gotcha. All right, so I appreciate the stalling while I got this up here. So
God damn, took
this
long
is the
enough.
game coming up. Right, I know my computer was not cooperating. I appreciate you though. But anyways, we are going to be playing the Kansas City Chiefs as we stated on Sunday night. As you see there, December 5th at 6:20 p.m. on NBC in Kansas City.
Hey,
People,
fourth in the AFC
remember.
West. We're tied for second. Screw you.
So So again, y'all thought that 80% of the money that went to the Chargers was bad. Look at this. Right now, we're on Monday. Okay, this is Monday. This is the first time that they really have actual lines out for next week. 100% of the money and 98% of the bets are on Kansas City, who is a 500-point favorite. So why are they such underdogs? Well, there is the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs are on a 3-game winning streak and coming off of a bye. And historically, Andy Reid has an almost 900 winning percentage after a bye, both in Philly and Kansas City. Andy Reid
Oh,
is a great coach, no matter how you slice it.
man won a
He will
Super Bowl when ate a
always,
burger and went to bed.
right? Didn't even worry about the beers or nothing else. Just needed a burger and went to bed because he got his ring. So as you can see here, the Kansas City offense is exponentially better than the Broncos. The
I
Broncos
don't
are
think we needed
21st
to
in
say
scoring.
that. I think everybody knew
I think
that.
they did, but some people need to be reminded. Okay,
Yeah.
the Kansas City Chiefs are top 10 in just about everything but rushing yards. As you can see here, they are ninth in points scored. They are second in total yards. They are fifth in passing, 16th in rushing, and 14th in time of possession.
And this is where the rushing game is going to come into play this week.
Exactly. Just like against the Los Angeles Chargers, the Broncos must run the ball at least 30 times because you have to keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes'
Hey,
hands.
you know, all
You
I'm going to say
cannot
is
give
let's
that
put Drew
man
Lock in
chances.
for a few series. Let's run the ball.
Right? That's what I'm saying. You want them to commit to the run? Put Luck on the field. All y'all that are screaming, oh, Teddy's better, but we need to commit to the run. Well, guess what? You want to know how to commit to the run? It's really easy. Put Drew Lock on the field. Pat Shermer will run on almost every single play.
And then he'll run like a quick 3-yard out real quick for Drew to get somebody.
Exactly. Or so we have three guys on the same side of the field, all running the exact same route within 3 yards
Yeah,
of the
just
line
run
of
shotgun
scrimmage.
slants.
Right. I mean, it's so stupid. Like people are talking. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to go there. I don't want to get too much into the quarterbacks. I'm really trying to stay away from that today. Anyways, they need to run the ball. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon should both have at least 15 carries apiece, at least, if not more.
If it goes
With
16-14, if it goes 16-14 or something like that, it
Yeah,
won't matter.
something like that. But exactly, at least as long as they get to at least 30 once, because that means that they're taking care of the ball, they're not turning it over, and they're controlling the time of possession and
Yes.
keeping Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey on the sideline. Because the biggest Achilles heel of this Kansas City squad is their passing, is their passing deep, their pass deep.
And I'll say
With
from
passing yards against,
the past 2 seasons before this one, the games in Arrowhead were the closest.
They were. And honestly, last year they were a bad interception from Drew Lock away from possibly winning that game. And that was in Kansas. But again, Drew played the whole game. Y'all can sit there and say, oh, one play cost him the game when it really didn't. So, but anyways, but again, they say that Teddy can't cost the team a game in one play, but Lock can. I don't know. But anyways, again, I don't want to go down that road. But you look at this defense of Kansas City. They are 24th against the pass. They are 15th against the run. And they are only 27th when it comes to getting to the quarterback. They have only 19 sacks this entire year. But you can't count them out. Why? Because in their last game, they showed they found a new way to win. And that was by playing defense. Chris Jones had 3.5 sacks. I think the team had like 6 sacks in total. They in the last since Washington in I believe it was week 6, they've only lost one game, and that loss is the only game where they allowed more than 300 total yards. It's the only game where they allowed more than 220 passing yards, and it's the only game where they allowed more than 100 rushing yards. So, as bad as this Kansas City defense was in the first 5 games of the season, they have been just as good in the previous 6 games.
And let's just hope it's not snowing Sunday night.
And that's another thing. Snow in Kansas City almost guarantees a Broncos loss. I think Peyton Manning was around the last time the Broncos won in Kansas City.
That was the last time we beat Kansas City, was in Kansas City, week 2, 2015.
Week 2, 2015. Yep. Okay, so that wasn't even in snow. So, again, it was before Manning the last time that they beat him in snow. So, yeah, if it's any inclement weather and with that fan base, as much as it pains me, they have a great fan base. They show up, they're loud, they're engaged, and they know when to get loud and they know when to get quiet.
You know, I wouldn't really be saying that. I would be saying that, but after all of my buddies who's a Chiefs fan send me videos of the fights at the stadium from the fans.
Right. Like, would I say they're great people?
No.
Great fans? Yes.
They're not somebody I want to hang out with.
Right. There's a reason that fan is short for fanatic. That's what those people are. They are fanatics about their team.
Hey, best fan base is the Bills. I'll say it.
Right. Then you add in alcohol on top of it and a bunch of male egos that think they're alpha males. And yeah, that's what you get. get a bunch of dummies throwing fists in a game, even though there's children and women around, and they want to
Dude,
try and claim that there's some kind of epic person or whatever.
every
But
time I
again,
watch, every time I watch a fight from a stadium, I just think of the one at the Rockies game where that Padres fan knocked that Rockies fan out.
you know what,
One punch,
wifey,
just out
right?
cold.
I think the wifey has a great idea. Start Teddy first half and second half finish with Drew. Let Teddy go out and build a lead, and then let Drew come in and let him run the ball and kill the clock. You know what? That's actually a genius idea. I like that idea.
You know, you don't see
What do
that
you think?
much in the NFL anymore. You
No,
don't
you
see the
don't.
double quarterback duo
Yeah,
besides Taysom Hill, Drew Brees, but Taysom Hill wasn't even in there to throw
yeah,
passes. He was in there to
no,
run for 2 yards.
yeah. He was a gadget. He was a
Yeah.
gadget player. He was.
I
He's
saw
not really a
I
quarterback.
saw he's probably going to start this week against the who are they playing on Thursday night?
Oh yeah, the Saints. Yeah. Let me see who they play.
I think it's the Cowboys, right? Am I wrong?
You might be right. I'm not 100% sure. Oh no. Yep, you are right. It is actually Thursday. They play the Cowboys. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, you are 1,000% correct, my guy. So I don't see anything about. Let's see. Yep, practice is fully ready to start. Taysom Hill. So yep, looks like Hill will get his first start of the season, which I mean I can't blame the Saints for trying to do something else. Trevor Simeon has not been it at all. I don't know. I don't know what's happened since 2016. 2016, he looked like he could be a legit starting
And
quarterback. But since
17
then,
and 2017. The reason
yeah,
people wanted to move on from him was because they were splitting games between him and Paxton Lynch.
yeah,
Trevor
exactly.
Simeon would have been way better off if Kubiak stayed.
Right. Yeah, I mean that was John Elway's first attempt at getting him and Kubiak. Paxton was supposed to be him. Simeon was supposed to be Kubiak, and then he tried again with Locke and Rippon. Locke was supposed to be him, and Rippon was supposed to be Kubiak, but didn't really work out either time, did
Yep.
it? But again, getting back to this Kansas City game, I know that a lot of this makes it look like Kansas City is beatable in this game. A lot of the way of how I showed Los Angeles was beatable
They
last
are.
week,
Kansas is a
and
beatable team.
they are more beatable than they have been under Mahomes.
This is a different team than
Yes,
years past with Mahomes.
but again, this team has figured it out. They had a really bad start to the season. I think Patrick Mahomes threw like 8 of his 11 interceptions in the first like 4 weeks
He's still
or something
leading.
like that. You know, he's now only at 11. Yeah, he's still, I believe, leading the league, but he still has 25 touchdowns. He's still thrown for 3,200 yards. He still has an almost 70% completion percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Like y'all can sit here and say that this team is more beatable, but yeah, when a juggernaut team that has absolutely stomped a conference for 2 years looks human, they're going to look beatable. But this is the time of year that contenders remove themselves from the pretender conversation and vice versa, where pretenders move from the contender conversation. And this is going to be a big game. The Broncos absolutely have to win this game if they want to make the playoffs. That's point blank, period. If they lose this week, they might get close. They might have an 8-9 record or something like that, and miss out on a wild card by a game or two. But if they do not win this game, they do not go to the playoffs.
You know,
And
if they
with that
lose this
being said,
game, if they lose this game,
no, go
it
ahead.
goes. You have to still beat the Chargers again. You have to beat the Raiders, and then you have to go against the Chiefs one more time.
And beat them.
So you got to
Yeah.
win at least one of them. You have to at least win one of these matchup against the Chiefs. Just
Yeah.
one. You don't need both necessarily.
They have to win at least 4 of their remaining games to get into the.
And then you got the
going to have to
Lions,
get at
which
least
that's a
4.
trap game. I don't want to talk about that yet.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. I agree with you. That's a bit of a trap, especially if they win this week. Just like the Eagles game was a trap game after the Cowboys victory, where they were more worried about telling us media folk how we were so wrong about how bad they were that they decided to go out and show us just exactly how bad they could be. It was completely insane, but that's exactly what happened. And I have a bad feeling that's going to happen again this week. So, with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to our predictions. We'll
Oof.
go ahead and let Dylan go first. So, go on ahead with your bad self.
See, this was tough. This is one I've been thinking about. Is this going to be one of those times where I think I go against the Broncos on this one? But I want to say, from years past, you know what? F it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Broncos.
We'll do it live.
Broncos are going to take this one. It's going to be a great game because it's in Arrowhead. Those have been the best games. They're always close. 2017 Broncos. I'll take it.
Oh man, I thought I finally got you over to the dark side, but you swapped on me at the last minute.
Take it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live, dang it.
Bill
All right,
O'Reilly,
so
dumbass.
I am obviously, because of all the things I've said, Andy Reid coming off of a bye week, it's almost impossible to beat the man. The last time the man's been beat after a bye week, I think it was like 3 years ago or something like that. It's absolutely insane the way this man gets his team ready during a bye week when he has 2 weeks to just game plan for one team. He comes out with some of the craziest stuff you're ever going to see. So that's what has me excited about this game. Not so much that I look forward to a Broncos win or that I'm even going to sit here and say that the Broncos are going to win because, again, this Kansas City team, the rest of the AFC has screwed around and allowed this team to find an identity and find ways to win. Mm-hmm. And they are going to continue to ride that throughout the rest of the season. I do not see any way that the Broncos can come into Arrowhead and beat this team when they had 2 weeks to prepare. So I am obviously going to take the Kansas City Chiefs in this one, as much as it pains me to do so, because I promise y'all, I don't want to make these predictions. I just stay honest and true to my convictions and what I see and what I believe. I am not jumping on the Kansas City bandwagon. I hate them with everything in me, so it pains me beyond belief to sit here and say that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to absolutely mollywop this Denver team. This is going to be ugly in the vein that it was with the Eagles. This is going to be a 30-13 Kansas City victory with them just absolutely destroying Teddy. And with Teddy being held together with nothing but duct tape and spit at this point, I do think that Teddy gets broken. Yes, I think Teddy gets broken by Chris Jones in this pass rush that are extremely hungry. And again, Chris Jones is coming off a 3.5 sack game. The guy has found it again, and he's one of the nastiest pass rushers in the entire NFL. And he's gotten some help, and some of the changes that Kansas City has made in the secondary have made exponential differences with getting rid of Dan Sorensen and adding in Thornton or Winthorpe. I forget the kid's name, but anyways, that was huge. Winthorpe, there you go. So those things were really, really deft moves by the Chiefs.
Yeah, Winthorpe's been playing great.
Yes. So I don't see any way that Denver can go in and get this win. So again, Kansas City 30-13. Yes, Dylan, go Broncos.
Wifey
behind you. Right. But yes, again, we appreciate y'all all coming in. I hope y'all enjoyed the few little tweaks in that I was able to give y'all today to give y'all some extra visuals. I'll be doing even more of that going forward. Make sure, again, you go to Bird Gang Sports Media Network, go to our YouTube, go to their YouTube, go to our Twitter, go to our Instagram. We have you everywhere, literally everywhere but one Twitter right now. We are at 3 different places in Facebook. Yes. These guys all across the bottom. Go there, hit subscribe, hit follow, give us some love. That one right up there.
See that one right there?
Yep, there you go. It's the Justin Turner lookalike. I don't think I'm ever going to live that down. Jesus Lord. Everywhere I go.
At least you're not looking like Carson Wentz like Zach was.
Right, I'll take that. I'll be the Justin Turner impersonator. He can be the Wentz impersonator. But no, seriously, y'all, we truly appreciate y'all. All the links are in the description. Bird Gang Sports Media Network, their merch store, our merch store, website, all the socials. Make sure you hit them. Make sure you share. Make sure you retweet all those good things for the Answers 42 Media Network, for Bird Gang Sports Media Network, and the Breakin Broncos podcast. I am Daniel Wetstein. That's my guy, Dylan Miles. We love y'all. Thank y'all for coming. We will be back next week, just like every Monday, right here, 2 to 3 p.m. at Mountain Standard Time. Take it easy, y'all, and never question the blue.